Hello. So today I'm going to talk to you about a book called The Power of Where that was released earlier, earlier this year. I was the lead cartographic editor on this project and oversaw over 700 maps and graphics in a very short time period for the owner of the company, so no pressure, right? And I wanted to show you how I used the Living Atlas, which is the largest digital catalog of geographic information that's ever been compiled, and how you can use it too for your maps. All the maps I'm showing today are ones that I personally worked on for the book. The Power of Where was written by Jack Dangermond, Esri, and the GIS community. And here we go. And this is Jack Dangermond's first authored book. He founded Esri with his wife Laura in 1969 and envisioned a way to apply science, rational thinking, and systems analysis to complex problems. The book has a history of GIS, a history of Esri, as well as several timelines of key GIS events. But the heart of the book is something Jack's talked about throughout his career, which is his concept of the geographic approach and how this can solve the world's greatest challenges. And the geographic approach is a multidisciplinary approach that is supported by the idea that we are all collectively responsible for our planet, and we can use spatial location to perceive and understand patterns. The book has 8 chapters, and each of the chapters details the geos, that Jack calls them, that make up the geographic approach, and they all end with a case study that has a practical application of that geo. So in order to handle the diverse set of maps I was given, spreading multiple disciplines and geographies, I used the Living Atlas. And a little bit of history. Prior to 2014, one of the challenges was how to organize the massive amount of GIS content that was openly shared on the web. So Esri began compiling and maintaining a catalog to curate the best available information coming from individual organizations in the GIS community, as well as data partners. And the concept envisioned users continuously updating and maintaining this catalog of information on the web. And the Living Atlas now includes the thematic categories that you see listed here. It also includes thousands of layers, maps, story maps, analytical models from governments, academia, nonprofits, and businesses and other organizations worldwide. This is a page from the book showing the Living Atlas content. As you can see, it's so diverse. We have methane and global forest canopy height, temperature, global hurricanes, NASA hotspots. So it's filled with authoritative information and it adheres to very high quality standards, so you can be confident in the information that you're pulling from the Living Atlas. It's also a great resource for cartographers for our maps. So let's dig into what we're going to be doing right now, which is, my goal is that you walk out of here and you see the Living Atlas as this vast cartographic resource. We're going to explore some maps and layers in the Living Atlas, and then I'm going to show you some examples about how to use it in ArcGIS Pro and online, using your own layers in Living Atlas, as well as data that's coming 100% from the Living Atlas. So let's dig in. And all these examples here, I used my own labels and some of my own layers, as well as Living Atlas content. So I'll go kind of in a clockwise motion. We have green infrastructure with a custom base map. We have CAL FIRE's fire history and overlapping burned areas. The map on the top right is from the LA Transit story, showing transit accessibility, as is the 3D model here of buildings scored by transit accessibility. The bottom middle one has routing options in Manila, Philippines, Oslo, Norway, Christchurch in New Zealand, as well as Cape Town in South Africa. And the one on the bottom is 2020 Global Fishing Watch, one of our newest data providers. Okay, we're going to work on this map, this is a map of cation exchange capacity, which is a measure of soil fertility. And what struck us was you can see the humanities in the data, and we wanted a really bright palette that was going to draw the viewer in. So let's go ahead and make this map. We're going to start here in the Living Atlas website. we have a number of categories that you can filter by. So let's take a look at the environment one. We've got several categories here. So let's go ahead and add that world soils layer in the search box. And here we have 11 different soil layers that cover the entire globe. And we're interested in this cation exchange capacity layer here. So we'll open this one, but let's go ahead and grab this cartographic mask as well. All right. So Living Atlas content all has a detailed information page, which gives you all the information that you need about this particular layer. So it also includes the source. So you can kind of come in here and click on the source and make sure you're getting the authoritative information that you need. That's really important. Every item has a content page in Living Atlas. So let's take a look at this layer in the map viewer, because I wanted to point out these are multi-dimensional image services. So what that means is these all come with different soil depths, and you can access the multi-dimensional slider here, and you can change the depth of soil that you're interested in. Okay, so we'll move here to the mask, and here's a trick I want to show you. I like to grab the item ID, because we're going to take this into Pro, so I'm just going to copy the item ID from the Living Atlas. Come in here to Pro. I have a local copy of the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers, and we're going to come in and start building the map. So I'll come in here into our catalog and search through the Living Atlas, and I'll go ahead and type in my hillshade layers, because we're going to start from the bottom up. Okay, I'm going to grab this multi-directional hillshade as well as the world hillshade. I like to stack hillshades together, so we'll go ahead and get these in. All right, collapse that, and I'm going to blend the top hillshade in with the multi-directional. It just gives a little bit more prominence to my hillshade. All right, now we're going to go ahead and add in our soils layer. So I'm going to come in here, world soils, same experience that you would get online. Okay, so we'll grab our cation exchange capacity. Let's bring that in. All right, let's go ahead and blend this in. Okay, multiply. But you notice we've got a lot of white, and so we built this cartographic mask so we could make these no data areas any color we want. So remember that item ID. I'm just going to paste it in here, and that gives me a direct hit to the layer that I'm interested in. So I'll add the mask, bring that in, and then I need to switch it and invert it so it just goes black, like that. Now I'm going to use the palette. I'm just going to grab it from a layer that I saved, apply that. So I love the vector tile style editor. I'm going to talk about this today, and this is where you can customize many of Esri's core base maps. So most of the base maps are in the style editor, as you can see here, and you can do anything you want to these. So let's go ahead and grab the human geography. I just want the country boundaries, so I've just turned everything else off. I've made these white, I saved it, and then I can just come in here into Pro and bring this in. So I'll go ahead and just do a search for these borders, like that. I'm going to bring these in. Bit too bright, so I can just take these down a little bit with transparency. And then all I need to do in the layout view is add in my labels. And this is just a feature class in a geodatabase that I made myself, and then had colleagues spell check everything for me. And there's that map. Okay, let's keep moving along. This is another map I worked on, and we wanted to just mute out the ocean. And I want to show you a little trick that I use in the style editor all the time, which is taking pieces from one base map and putting it into another. So let's go back into the style editor here. I'm going to come in here and just grab this human geography base layer, and all it has is land and water. But I want bathymetry, so I can get that by, oops, sorry. I pre-recorded these because I didn't want to rely on the internet. So yeah, it's just got these two layers in here. So let's go in and go to another map that has a nice bathymetry layer, which is the charted territory map made by a colleague, Cindy Prostak. And we'll grab this bathymetry, Okay, and so I'm going to come in here to the code editor, and I'm just going to grab the bathymetry from this base map. That's it. Just all I need. Get this, grab this code. Okay, copy that. I'm going to bring this back into my other map. See, just got that layer. I'm going to just replace the ocean. Bring the code in from one base map, put it into the other, and now I've got that in this map. Let's zoom in, but being, cartographer, control freak, I want my own palettes, so I went into Adobe Illustrator and reblended some blues. I'm just going to show you how I do this again. So I'm going to copy the code and just replace it and have some other colors. Grab it here, paste, update, and now I've got that. And since we're here, let's do some housekeeping, because I might want to share this and make this layer just neat. So I'm just going to take out what I don't need by just removing it. Get rid of the land and the background. Just isolate those. And they're gone. And now this layer just contains the bathymetry layer that I was interested in. All right, these maps use 100% Living Atlas content. We have solar power in the United States, global sea surface temperature, an array of maps, anything from buildings in Amsterdam. We have global solar potential, fire response districts, fire threat districts in Australia, wildfire information, sea level rise in the United States, as well as global land cover. Right, let's work on this map. 100% of this is Living Atlas, and I made just a few tweaks to this. So we'll come here, let's use John's amazing global background layer, which you can make any color you want. We're going to use these intact habitat cores. These are minimally disturbed natural areas for the United States. We'll just zoom in and take a look at these. So you can see those. This is the National Hydrography data set. This is authoritative from the USGS, and this is an incredible data set for your maps in the United States. It has 24 million line features. And it's paused. What's happened here? Is it there? Okay, 24 million line features, as well as over 7 million area features. And this is a great resource to use on your maps in the United States. Check this out. Look at the detail on this layer. Let's zoom into the Bay Area, where I live, and check out the Sacramento Delta here. It's just incredible information. Okay. Next, let's look at the structures layer. This is from FEMA. This is 131 million building footprints in the United States. So we'll just check this one out. Like that. Then we're going to use the human geography detail layer that I've just customized a little bit, and then the world terrain reference layer that I applied a new font and tinted brown to give our map a bit of a historic look. So we're going to come in here into Pro. Again, we'll stack some hillshades together. We'll use transparency, and then I'm going to blend in this global background and tint it a little bit brown. It's kind of hard to see on this projector. I'm going to add in a hillshade layer again. We're going to multiply that into everything at the bottom. We'll add in our intact habitat cores. All I did was change the color. So we'll zoom in so you can see and differentiate the different classes. I've multiplied this in as well. Kind of pan around a little bit. Now we've got this NHD high res, and I didn't bother styling any of the others that are in this area features layer. I just did the rivers and streams and the lakes, ponds, reservoirs, and estuaries, because that was all that was in my map extent. And I've got my line features. I just did the 0 to 10,000 and the ephemeral and intermittent. Let's move in and grab our structures. So we'll come here. They're just single features. Gave them a bit of an orange color so they pop out on the map. And then we'll go ahead and add in some roads. So we'll add in that detail layer and then that world terrain reference layer. And that's it. And I didn't do anything else We exported the map from Pro just like this. And it was pretty easy to just bring all that information in. But I know many people like to use Adobe Illustrator, and Sarah showed this in the earlier presentation. You can export any of these base maps into Adobe Illustrator. So if you need roads in Paris or buildings in New Zealand, you can grab those from the base maps. And these are all now totally modifiable features. Okay, thank you very much.
All right. We have time for a couple questions. If anyone has any questions. Yes.
Hi.
So I'm one of your Esri Press authors, and I was given instructions to not use Esri layers because of all the licensing involved for a publication that's going to be copyrighted. So how are you handling intellectual property issues with all of these layers that are in Living Atlas?
We can speak after about that, but I was under the impression and was told that if it's in the Living Atlas, it's in the public domain. It's part of that public collection. So I can follow up with you about that and make sure for your publications.
Well, like you were pulling base map content and adjusting the colors and so forth, and I think it was those ones that I was told not to use.
Okay, I'll look into that, yeah.
Cool. Any other questions? Yes.
Are you guys creating the world boundaries and country boundaries, or are you guys getting that from a different source?
Our base map team works on and maintains all of those layers that are in the base maps team. So we're creating them, yes, but I don't know their exact process of who they're validating them with, but we have a whole team that handles all the base maps on the Living Atlas.